Okay, let's look at a thesis that is okay. It's not great, but it has some aspects that are actually pretty good. So it could be reworked into a very good thesis. It states, the Industrial Revolution was a time of great technological and scientific progress in Western society. However, it also sought to counter the ideals of the Enlightenment and gave rise to many social and moral issues like inequality, child labor, and alienation. The authors at this time seem to agree that with those factors it did more harm than good. Okay, let's go through our checklist. First of all, is it clear? The first part of it is very clear. Up until the point where we see the however, very clear, totally understand where the author of this statement is going. After that, not so much. So I think we really do need to give them a no. It is not clear. It gets wordy and very unclear at the end. Can you disagree with it? Somewhat. So kind of a yes and no. Obviously they're saying that it was a time of great progress, but they really don't take a stand. So we're going to jump actually down to number 3, because what they seem to say is the authors of the time seem to agree with those factors did more harm than good. It doesn't say that the author believes that, or doesn't take a stand that it is or it was not more harmful than it was good. They didn't take a very clear stand. It seems like they're saying because they agree with the authors that they think it did more harm than good, but it isn't clear. So because of that, can I disagree with it? Not really. I can say that the authors thought that? Well, some did and some didn't. So again, it's a fuzzy thesis that just needs to take a very clear stand. Does it express one main idea? Well, it says that it was a time of progress, but there were factors that caused social and moral issues, and ultimately it was more harmful than good. So actually it seems to express about 3 main ideas, so I would also say no to that. Does it assert a conclusion? Again, it's somewhat, because we'll give them a yes for that one. It does assert at the bottom that the authors of the time thought it did more harm than good. So it kind of leads us to that they're going to draw a conclusion that it's more harmful than good. But again, it's not crystal clear. The language is a bit fuzzy. And did the author use specific language? Well, I like that the author put in the idea of social and moral issues. They were very specific about what those social and moral issues were. But again, that whole thing with the authors of the time made it a bit unclear, because I don't know who they are. I don't know which side of the fence that they were on as far as the Enlightenment was concerned. So I'm going to give them a yes here, but again, it could have been more clear. The only thing I think that is really missing from this thesis is at the back part. First of all, I think it's a bit too wordy. And then secondly, I think this whole idea of the authors of the time needs to be gone. They just need to come out and say, overall, the Industrial Revolution did more harm than good. Take a definitive stand. Don't try to say that the authors believed it. Just say it did or it didn't. That gives you something to disagree with. It clearly takes a stand. It gives a specific language and makes the thesis easy to follow. Again, it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. The question is, can you prove your argument? This thesis doesn't really make a very solid argument, so there's nothing for us as a reader to get excited about, and doesn't give us a very clear direction on where the author is going.